there, this is Beth, and I am so happy to be a part of the Cool Kid um, YouTube Hop this year. I think I've done it most years. I might have missed a couple years. I'm not sure. But I'm really happy to be back and doing this hop with everybody here and share this layout. So what you're seeing me do is get some cardstock, and I'm just wiping on this really, really old Heidi Swap texture paste that's like in silver. Um, I'm surprised this stuff still works, but it does. And then I'm also going to do the same thing and with this mint color. And let me tell you, these things are old, like really, really old. So I'm really happy that they actually do work. I was quite surprised. So after I do that, I'm going to set these aside and let them dry. I really wanted to leave parts like this in the video because I wanted you to see the mixed media aspect of this layout. I am going to be doing everything on a piece of 12 by 12 watercolor paper that I cut down, I believe, to 11.5 by 11.5. And then I'm going to back it with this kind of neutral, funky paper to give me the full 12 by 12 side. Here, this is me just checking out this Nuvo, I think it's like a glitter paste. And I really did not like the effect it was giving me. So this piece of scrap paper is just going to be set aside for a later mixed media thing that I do. I don't know what it was about it, but I can tell you I love the glitter paste like through a stencil, just not plain on the paper like this. So that kind of just went into my little bin of goodies that I save for mixed media projects like this. So I cut the paper down and then I tested it, and I saw that I needed to cut it down a little bit more. So you're going to see me doing that here. This is the funky paper, and yeah, that's me thinking, do I want to cut it down a little bit more? And the decision was yes. So originally I was like 11.75, so I was only taking off like 1/4 of an inch, and then I decided that the 11.5 was perfect. And then I really dig this paper, so I decided I needed to cut the middle out of it so that I have some of it left, because it's kind of cool. I did have a little bit of an issue actually saying my lines, but it's all good. I managed to cut out like the proper amount and still have enough that the watercolor paper would be supported and still look good. So you're going to see me here. I am going to grab my Tim Holtz ruler because it has that metal bar, and I'm using a Scotch box cutter. So I know a lot of people use X-Acto knives and stuff for this kind of thing, but let me tell you, this little Scotch box cutter, I use it for so many different things, and in replace of an X-Acto knife, I really feel that it cuts a lot better than an X-Acto knife, and I don't have a hard time fully controlling it. So that's what I went ahead and used for that to cut it out, and then that's just going to get set to the side. I have you saw the sketch that I'm using from Christy's Beautiful Life for her Scraptember Facebook group. And at first I wasn't sure if this was like a sketch that I could dig. And I really wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone. And that's exactly what I ended up doing with this layout, because normally I would not have chosen this sketch. And I'm so happy that I went ahead and did choose the sketch from Christy. I think the final outcome of this layout is really pretty awesome. So now you're going to see me here fiddle with the lines and the circles. I have the circle stencil, and I'm just cutting these half circles to kind of match Christy's sketch, and using the flowers because I was inspired on the sketch of flowers. So that's why I kind of went with this theme. And I'm actually cutting up pieces of scrap vellum that I use in my shop for one of the traveler's notebooks bundles that I have. Now you're going to see here that I was having issues with the line spacing. And so I'm just erasing those initial lines, and then I'm guesstimating where I need the next line. And then after I put that line, I'm like, okay, well, this was a great amount of space, but I didn't have enough space to do the same thing towards the end. So I literally had to move um, all of these lines all over again. So the distance between all of the lines ended up being a 2.5-inch distance. And I did it again where like I thought that was going to be the right sizing, and it wasn't. I measured everything out. I drew lines, and yet again, I was like, no, that's not right. So these are the correct notches for the lines that I'm going to draw. I left the old lines there and then erased them after I drew the new lines. Don't ask me why. I was trying to make sure I wasn't getting confused with anything, probably. So that's what I did there. The pencil I'm actually using is a Pentel Graph pencil. It happens to be one of my all-time favorite pencils. I truly, truly love this pencil. I have them in different lead sizes too. So the one that I currently have down in my basement with me is the 0.9 lead pencil, but I also have a 0.5 and a 0.7, but I'm missing the 0.5, which inserts sadness there. So here's where these pieces of paper come in that I added the metallic texture to. And I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these and get these set up for the same thing as the vellum pieces. And then I just kind of cut out because you don't need to watch me cutting out all of these pieces in order to get this set up. So I save you from that part of the layout. In reality, the first part of this layout actually took me 45 minutes, which is super, super long for me because I'm generally a really fast scrapbooker. So I have this palette of watercolors. Most of them are Daniel Smith in here, and I was just spraying them to wake them up. And I'm going to paint the circles that you see drawn with my watercolors. I do notice, like, as I start watercoloring, that there are some issues with the placement and things needed to be changed. And I did catch myself before I painted all of the half circles. In hindsight, I really did not need to paint all of that and do it for all three because two of the lines actually get covered quite a bit with the picture. So my picture was printed out at 5x7, and it's cut just a little bit shorter. So I really wanted the photo to take up a big amount of the layout because it was the first day of school. Kind of a big deal in our family this year because the oldest is starting high school and the youngest is starting third grade. And as we all know, both of these grades are a huge change from what they are used to in school. So I really wanted that documented. I also wanted their shoes documented. So you'll see me fiddling around later in the layout that I needed to make sure that those shoes were seen in the photo and not covered up by anything because I have never really documented like their brand new pairs of shoes for school. And that's something that we always do for them. We always get them a brand new pair of shoes. I don't make you watch the entire thing of me watercoloring this, but I did want you to see some of it. And I really find projects like these just to be very relaxing. You know, I'm just watercoloring in these half circles, making sure that I get everything to the end of, you know, the lines and nothing is array. I never labeled the watercolors in this palette of mine that I created. So it's really hard for me to remember like which blue is with what blue and because they all kind of look the same inside the palette. So that was me just testing out the different blues that I have. Now you're going to see me take, this is where I find out like, oh, no, that was wrong. That half circle was not correct. And make some changes there with everything and fix it. But I really didn't need to. It wasn't really a huge issue because it's covered up. But I left it in here so you could just see that, it's not a big deal. And I was able to fix my mistakes quickly. I did not draw on this layout with the lead pencil like really hard. It's just very light lines. So erasing them and getting them completely off was not an issue at all. And right about here, you're going to come and see me come in with everything painted and looking pretty awesome, I think. I'm very happy with the way I did the colors, and everything kind of just came together here. So there we go. That's the end. And unfortunately for me, I cannot find my dot liner tape that I really, really enjoy. There's nothing against the scrapbook.com tape. I like it, but I would have had a much easier time. So I took a minute to like kind of check my adhesive drawers for the dot liner that I use, and I only have the refills. I don't have the actual like thing that the refills are supposed to go into. So I need to make a point of finding that somewhere in my stash of things in the basement. So that is the final layout of the watercolors and all of the papers glued down. I did use the art glitter clear adhesive glue. It even worked on the vellum really well. I didn't have any wrinkling with that vellum at all, so that was kind of awesome. The flower bunch that you see here is actually from Wilna Furstenberg's new printables that she has up in her shop. I always buy her stuff when she has new things up. I love the colors. They're just so beautiful and vibrant. And I printed these out on presentation paper. I could have had my Cricut or my Silhouette cut them out, but sometimes I don't want to wait for all that, and I just decided to cut them out, fussy cut them with my close to my heart scissors because those are my favorite scissors for fussy cutting. I found a really old 6x8 paper pad. Let me see. I don't remember the name of it, but it's in my stash. Let me see if I can find it. It is a Horizon by Pink Paisley, so it's old. I haven't been scrapping as much as I used to, and I'm trying to really get back into it because I truly miss telling the family stories and all of the stories that we have. So I'm trying to make a point of that and really get some photos down into scrapbook layouts. I have quite a few printed. I actually just went ahead and printed them with persnickety prints because I had so many that I wanted printed. So this one happened to be printed at home just because it's brand new. It's this kid's going to school. I played around with the flowers up there at the top, and as I rewatched me making this layout, I really wish that flower bunch up at the top had made it onto the layout. I really, really like it, and I love the pop of blue that it gives, but unfortunately for me, it did not. So after I did a mat for this photo, I went ahead and grabbed some craft foam. I just get this from Michael's. It's just the craft foam sheets, and I don't mind adding my own adhesive to them. I know they have the adhesive ones, but for some reason I didn't grab those for that. And then this flower bunch that did make it on the layout from Wilna, I added the foam to the bottom so it was the same height as the photo and added it on there that way. And I really like how that came out, and I love the fact that the sneakers are seen in this layout. Both of them have their own style. The little guy is very into camouflage this year. I don't know why, but he is. And the princess has always had her own sense of style. So her outfits are just one of a kind and they really speak her. And I'm so glad that she has never let anybody change that about her. I went ahead and popped these butterflies up. They are not all from the same collection. We're just in a jumble in a box that I have. And those were the ones that I picked out to go with the layout. This is where I really, really struggled. And thank goodness I cut a lot of it out. I wanted the title to be here. And then I struggled with creating the right title. I really liked the color of these stickers here, but I did not like the glitter aspect of them. I also did not like how big they were. And yes, that was a cattail. Don't worry, I do realize that I put happened instead of happening because happened would be in the past, and I did fix that. So I went on a big hunt to go ahead and find these little tiny alphabets. I love tiny alphabet stickers, and I need to go ahead and find some more. Not quite sure where to, so if you have any thoughts on that for me, I would love it if you would share it down in the comments and tell me where I can find more tiny stickers. Now, I didn't stick anything fully flat down. It's just kind of laid down there. I did that because I wanted to make sure that my thought process was correct and everything would kind of fit. And it did. So I don't really make you watch every single part of this going on and happening for the layout. But we're really towards the end of it here. So I'm going to add all of these onto the layout. I have to use tweezers because these are definitely some tiny little alphas here going on. And I did decide to add the art glitter glue to these as well. What I love about the art glitter glue is that it really does dry clear. I'm able to have that precision point, and you can't, with the tiny alphas, the precision point is like, it's a must. It has to be there. So with that being said, I thank Sara Scraps for putting this YouTube hop together. I love everything about her layouts and all of the other amazing hoppers that are here. I really, really hope that you will find the time to watch all of our videos. And don't forget to leave me a comment if you know where I can get tiny alpha letter stickers for the rest of my layouts.
Yes, come on, shorty, let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner